Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'll be breaking down the NBA slate for Thursday, March 16th. We got a 6-game slate on for this Thursday. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, starting off at point guard, your top point guard on today's slate is Russell Westbrook. He gets a pretty good matchup against the Raptors. The Raptors aren't good defensively against the point guard. Westbrook most likely will be guarded by Corey Joseph or DeMar DeRozan. And he can exceed in both of those matchups, so I do like Russell on this slate. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be paying up for him, though. I think there's a lot of good mid-range guys that you want to target on this slate, and there really isn't much value. So I'm not sure if I'm going to play Westbrook, but if you want to pay up for him, he is definitely in play. He's been playing very well lately. He can easily pay off that price tag at only $64 on Yahoo. So I do like Westbrook, and I think he also has good upside in this matchup as well. This game should be pretty close and should be high scoring, so I do like Westbrook. Steph Curry against Orlando. I'm not going to be playing Curry on Yahoo. He's way too expensive at $53. He has to get you almost 60 fantasy points to pay off that price tag. So I'm not going to be playing Curry on Yahoo, but if he's cheaper on other sites, I do like him there. This is a pretty good matchup. The Magic aren't good defensively against the point guard, but I'm not going to be playing Curry on Yahoo. He's way too expensive. Chris Paul against Denver. I really like this matchup for CP3. Denver's really bad defensively, and they play at a very fast pace. And Chris Paul's pretty cheap on Yahoo as well at only $44. He can easily pay off that price tag. So if you want to pay up for point guard, I do think you can target CP3 on the slate. He should be able to pay off his price. And he does have pretty good upside in this matchup as well. This game should be high scoring, so I do like CP3. For just $1 cheaper, you got Kyrie Irving against the Jazz. I'm not going to be going there on this slate. I would much rather have CP3 for just $1 more, so I'm going to be off Irving. Mike Conley against Atlanta. I really like this matchup for Conley. I'm not a big fan of that price tag at $36. He has to get you almost 40 fantasy points to pay that off. But given this matchup, he can do that. Atlanta really struggles defensively against the point guard. Dennis Schroeder is not a good defender, so I do like Conley. But I'm probably not going to be playing him. I think he's a little bit too expensive. But if he's cheaper on other sites, then I like him there. At the mid-range, I do like Dennis Schroeder against Memphis. People are going to see this matchup and think it's a bad matchup. It is a slow-paced matchup, but Memphis isn't great defensively against the point guard. And Schroeder is very cheap on Yahoo at only $29. He's been crushing value lately. On his last 5 games, he's put up 35, 43, 37, 36, and 41 fantasy points. And these teams just played March 11th, and Schroeder had 36 fantasy points in 28 minutes. So I definitely think he is in play, especially on Yahoo. He's very cheap over there. At only $29, he shouldn't have a problem paying off that price tag, even in the slow-paced matchup. So I do like Schroeder. For $3 less, you got D Rose against Brooklyn. I'm probably not going to be targeting Rose on this slate. I'm not a big fan of that price tag. If I'm targeting that price range, I would much rather take Schroeder for just $3 more or pay down $1 less and take Elfrid Payton. Payton has been playing very well as of late, and he gets a really good up-and-pace matchup against Golden State. Payton's also been very consistent lately. On his last 5 games, he's put up 44, 65, 29, 33, and 45 fantasy points. If this game can stay close, Elfrid Payton does have really good upside in this matchup. He could go off for a triple-double. So I really like him for tournaments. He could go for over 50 fantasy points in this high-scoring game. So I really like Payton at the mid-range. I think he's definitely in play. George Hill against Cleveland. I like this matchup for Hill. Cleveland really struggles defensively against the point guard. I wouldn't target Hill, though. I just think he's been a little bit too inconsistent lately. And I'm not a big fan of that price tag either. I would much rather have Payton if you're targeting that price range, or if you want to go cheaper, I would much rather take Jeremy Lin against the Knicks. Lin's been playing very well lately. He does play on a little bit of a minutes restriction. He won't play more than 30 minutes in a night. But even though he only plays about 27 to 28 minutes, he can still pay off his cheap price tag. Especially given this matchup, he shouldn't have a problem paying it off. The Knicks really struggled defensively against the point guard. And when these teams played March 12th, Jeremy Lin had 25 fantasy points and he played 27 minutes. So I do like Lin on this slate. If you need some value, he can easily pay off that price tag given the matchup. So I do like Lin if you're looking for value at point guard. Corey Joseph has been a guy we've targeted for value on Yahoo. He's really cheap over there at only $14. He has been very inconsistent as of late. He did have 3 really good games, but then he struggled in his last 2, putting up only 10 and 15 fantasy points. I do think Joseph can bounce back in this matchup and get you 20 fantasy points, which is good for his price. So you can target Corey Joseph on this slate if you need a cheap point guard, but I would much rather try and find the $3 to get to Jeremy Lin. But I do think Joseph is in play. OKC is not that good defensively against the point guard. Russell Westbrook really doesn't play much defense. So I do like Joseph, especially on Yahoo. He's pretty cheap over there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for point guard. Let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. All right, your top shooting guard on this slate is DeMar DeRozan. He gets a good matchup against OKC. They really struggle defensively against the shooting guard. DeRozan's price has gotten to a point where you can play him on Yahoo. At only $44, I do think he is in play on this slate. He only has to get you 40 to 45 fantasy points to be worth that play. And I do think he can do that for this matchup. So I do like DeRozan on this slate. I haven't been targeting him lately just because I thought he was a little bit too expensive, but his price has dropped to $44, and I do think he's in play at that price tag, so I like DeRozan if you want to pay up. Klay Thompson against Orlando. I really like this matchup for Thompson. Orlando really struggles defensively against the shooting guard, and Thompson's actually been playing pretty consistent ball lately. On his last 3 games, he's put up 40, 41, and 33 fantasy points. I'm not a big fan of that price tag at $32, but given the matchup, I do think Klay can pay off that price tag. So if you want to pay up, I like him as well. I think he's in play. At the mid-range, I really like Victor Oladipo against Toronto. Oladipo is very cheap on Yahoo at only $24. He only has to get you 25 to 30 fantasy points to pay off that price tag, and he's been doing that lately. And I do like this matchup as well. Toronto isn't good defensively against the shooting guard. So if you need a mid-range shooting guard on the slate, I'm really liking Victor Oladipo. He's going to be a guy I target if I'm targeting the mid-range. Also at the mid-range, I do like Evan Fournier against Golden State. This is going to be an up-and-pace matchup for Orlando, and this game should be pretty high scoring. And Fournier should thrive in the up-and-pace matchup. The Magic are really going to rely on him to score the ball. So I do like Fournier. At only $20, he can easily pay off that price tag. And given the up-and-pace matchup, he also has really good upside for tournaments. So I like Fournier in both formats. I think he's a great play on this slate, especially at only $20. I like him for cash games and tournaments. Also at the mid-range, I do like Will Barton against the Clippers. Danilo Gallinari and Wilson Chandler have already been ruled out for this game, so Barton's going to have to step up and play heavy minutes. Gallinari and Chandler missed on Monday's game against the Lakers, and Will Barton played 30 minutes and had 35 fantasy points. At only $18, I think he's a pretty good value play on this slate. He can easily pay off that price tag. With Gallo and Chandler both out for this game, Barton's really going to have to step up and play heavy minutes, so I do like him at the mid-range as well. I think he's in play. And if you need some value on this slate, I do like Courtney Lee against Brooklyn. Lee's price has risen to $13, but he's been pretty consistent as of late. On his last 5 games, he's put up 27, 28, 29, 21, and 18 fantasy points. At only $13, he only has to get you 20 to 25 fantasy points to pay that price tag off. And he can easily do that against the Nets. So if you need some shooting guard value on the slate, I do like Courtney Lee. I think he's in play. And yeah, that's pretty much it for shooting guard. Let's go ahead and move on to small forward. All right, your top small forward on this slate is LeBron James. He gets a bad matchup against Utah. This is going to be a really slow-paced matchup for the Cavs. And Utah is pretty good defensively against a small forward. I don't think I'm going to be targeting LeBron on this slate, especially not at $56. I think he's way too overpriced. So I'm not going to be on LeBron. I don't think you should pay up for him on this slate. I think there are other guys worth targeting. Gordon Hayward against the Cavs, probably not going to go there either. Hayward's going to have to deal with LeBron defense, and LeBron's a pretty solid defender. So I'm not going to be on Hayward. For $1 cheaper, I really like Carmelo Anthony at home against the Nets. Kristaps Porzingis is not expected to play for this game, so that's just more shots for Melo. Melo has been a little inconsistent, but he's started to play well in his last 2 games, scoring 39 and 40 fantasy points. He is very cheap on Yahoo at only $34. If Porzingis does not play in this game, then I think Melo has a 30-point floor in this matchup, and he does have upside upwards of 50 to 60 fantasy points. So I really like Melo for both cash games and tournaments. I think he's a terrific play at the small forward position. He's definitely going to be the guy that I target on this slate. And if you need some value at the small forward position, I do like Matt Barnes against Orlando. Orlando really struggles defensively against the small forward, and Barnes is very cheap on Yahoo at only $12. And Barnes has been playing very well as of late. In his last 2 games, he's put up 30 and 26 fantasy points, and he's played 35 and 22 minutes. I feel like if Barnes plays at least 20 minutes in this matchup, he can easily pay off that $12 price tag. So I do like Matt Barnes at the small forward position if you need some value. Also, at the minimum price, I like Juancho Hernan-Gomez against the Clippers. Like I said earlier with Will Barton, Danilo Gallinari and Wilson Chandler have already been ruled out for this game. So Hernan-Gomez should play a lot more minutes. So if you need some value at the small forward position, I like him as well. He should play at least 20 to 25 minutes, and he can easily pay off that $10 price tag. So I also like Hernan-Gomez on the slate. If you need some value at the small forward position, I think he's in play. And another small forward I like in the minimum price is Karis LeVert. He gets a really good matchup against the Knicks. They really struggle defensively against the small forward. The only thing I don't like about LeVert is he doesn't play very heavy minutes. The most minutes he'll usually play on a night is about 25 to 27 minutes. But he is a very good fantasy point per minute scorer. Even if he gets just 20 minutes, he can still pay off that $10 price tag and given the matchup. So I do like LeVert as well. I think he's in play at only $10. He can easily pay off that price tag given the matchup. So I like him for value on the slate. And yeah, that's pretty much it for small forward. Let's go ahead and move on to power forward. All right, your top power forward on the slate is Blake Griffin. He gets a really good matchup against the Nuggets. They really struggle defensively against the power forward. And this is going to be an up and pace matchup for the Clippers. So I do like Griffin on this slate, especially at $43. He's pretty cheap for this matchup. So if you want to pay up for power forward, I do think Griffin is in play. Under him, I also like Draymond Green against Orlando. Green's really had to step up ever since KD got hurt. He started to do a lot more offensively. So I like him as well at only $38. He can easily pay off that price tag given the matchup. So I like Green if you're wanting to pay up. Paul Millsap against Memphis. Probably not going to go there on the slate. If I'm attacking that price range, I would much rather have Draymond for just $2 more. So I'm not going to be on Millsap. Kristaps Porzingis against the Nets. Porzingis is not expected to play in this game. But if he does play, I like him at only $31. He can easily pay off that price tag given the matchup. When these teams played March 12th, Porzingis played 33 minutes and he put up 44 fantasy points. So if he does play, I like him. But as you can see here, he doesn't look like he's going to play anyway. But if he does play, I like him on this slate. At the mid-range, I like Serge Ibaka against OKC. This is going to be a little revenge game for Ibaka. He played for the Thunder last year. He has been struggling lately, but given this matchup and his price tag, I do think he's in play if you need a mid-range power forward. OKC really struggles defensively against the power forward, and Ibaka's pretty cheap as well. I think he can pay off that price tag given the matchup. He only has to get you 25 to 30 fantasy points, and he can do that. So I like Ibaka at the mid-range. I think he's too cheap for this matchup. I think he bounces back, gets you at least 30 fantasy points in this matchup. So I like Ibaka at the mid-range. Also at the mid-range, I like Aaron Gordon against Golden State. This isn't a great matchup defensively. Gordon is going to have to go up against Draymond Green, but this is an up-and-pace matchup for Orlando. I do like Gordon in tournaments. He could go off in this matchup. And at $22, I think he can easily pay off that price tag, so I like him for cash as well. So if you need a mid-range power forward, I think AG is in play as well. He's got a pretty cheap price tag, so I like him for cash, and he does have good upside in this matchup, so I think he's in play for tournaments as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for power forward. There really isn't much value here. I think if you want to pay up, you're going to take Blake or Draymond on this slate, and if you need a mid-range guy, I like Ibaka and Aaron Gordon. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to center. Your top center on this slate is Nikola Jokic. He doesn't get that great of a matchup against the Clippers. They're really good defensively against the center. And Jokic's price has increased to $50. I'm probably not going to be targeting him on this slate, especially not for cash games. I think there are other guys worth paying up for. But for tournaments, I do like Jokic. He's always in play for tournaments. He does have really good upside. And he'll probably be low-owned on this slate as well. So I like Jokic for tournaments. But for cash games, I think there are more optimal guys worth targeting. Under Jokic, you got Marc Gasol against Atlanta. I'm probably not going to be targeting Gasol on this slate. He's going to have to go up against Dwight Howard, and Howard's a pretty good defender. And Gasol has been a little inconsistent lately as well. And Gasol really struggled against Atlanta when they played March 11th. He only put up 17 fantasy points in 27 minutes. So I'm not going to be on Gasol on the slate. If I want to pay up at center, I would much rather take the guy under Gasol, and that's Nikola Vucevic against Golden State. Like I said earlier, this is going to be an up-and-pace matchup for the Magic, and Vooch has been one of the most consistent centers lately. In his last 5 games, he's put up 40, 25, 45, 39, and 47 fantasy points. He's very cheap on Yahoo at only $30. So I think if you need a mid-range center on the slate, I really like Nikola Vucevic. He's pretty consistent, so I like him for cash games, and he has really good upside in this matchup. So I like him for tournaments as well. I think he's a very good play on this slate. At that same price, you got Rudy Gobert against the Cavs. I'm probably not going to be targeting Gobert on this slate. If I'm attacking that price range, I would much rather have Vucevic at the same price. And this isn't a great matchup either. The Cavs are pretty good defensively against the center. So I'm not going to be on Gobert. At the mid-range, I do like DeAndre Jordan against Denver. Denver really struggles defensively against the center. And this is going to be an up-and-pace matchup as well. DJ's pretty cheap on Yahoo at only $27. He can easily pay off that price tag given the matchup. So I like DJ at the mid-range. I think he's in play. Also like Brook Lopez against the Knicks. The Knicks really struggled defensively against the center, and Lopez is pretty cheap on Yahoo as well at only $25. Oh, and these teams played March 12th. Lopez put up 38 fantasy points and played 28 minutes. I think he can get close to that stat line today. I think he can get you at least 30 fantasy points. So I like Lopez at the mid-range. I think he's in play. Dwight Howard against Memphis. I'm probably not going to be going there on this slate. Howard's price has decreased, though, to $23. That is very cheap for him. He can easily pay off that price tag, but I don't think he has really good upside in this matchup, so I probably wouldn't target him for tournaments. But for cash games on Yahoo, I like him there. He's very cheap. He can easily pay off his price tag on Yahoo, so I like Dwight for cash on Yahoo, but for tournaments, I wouldn't target him. I don't think he really has much upside in this matchup. And on the cheaper end, I really like Willie Hernan-Gomez against Brooklyn. Hernan-Gomez has been very consistent as of late. In his last 5 games, he's put up 26, 28, 27, 21, and 42 fantasy points. And like I said earlier with Melo, Kristaps Porzingis is not expected to play, so that really helps Hernan-Gomez. He should get a little bit extra minutes. And he could absolutely ball out against the Nets. They really struggled defensively against the center. Hernan-Gomez is also very cheap on Yahoo at only $17. He can easily pay off that price tag given this matchup. So I really like him on this slate. He's definitely going to be the center that I target, especially on Yahoo. He's just way too cheap. He can easily pay off that price tag. Also on the cheaper end, I do like Jonas Valanciunas against OKC. The only thing that keeps me from rostering Valanciunas is his minutes. His minutes are very inconsistent, and he doesn't really play heavy minutes either. But OKC usually always has one big on the floor. They usually have Cantor or Adams on the floor at all times. So I feel like Valanciunas might have to play at least 25 to 30 minutes in this matchup, and he can pay off his cheap $16 price tag if he gets the minutes. So I like Valanciunas as well if you need a cheaper center on the slate. But on Yahoo, I would much rather have Hernan-Gomez for just $1 more. But I definitely think Valanciunas is in play. And yeah, that's pretty much it for center. I'm going ahead and give you guys my starting 5. Alright guys, so this is my starting 5 for the NBA slate on Thursday, March 16th. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on this video or hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, and I'll be sure to answer your question. If you guys want my full updated lineup for Yahoo, FanDuel, or DraftKings, then be sure to follow me on Twitter and send me a message, and I'll be sure to get you a lineup. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed. We're getting very close to 2,000 subscribers. I think we're about 20 away. So if this is your first time on my channel, then please be sure to hit that subscribe button. I upload daily fantasy videos every day, so be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. But yeah, if you never want to miss out on a video, then please be sure to click the bell icon next to my YouTube name, and you'll get a notification every time I upload. So if you never want to miss out on a video, then please be sure to do that. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck tonight.
They telling me to take the safe route. This is the detour. Hoodie, baby, you ain't seen a kid like this before him. Late night shooting for the moon like Warren. Them hits come out as soon as you hit recording. Born in America, Chevy and Ford, but these Greek ladies loving me. They saying he's foreign.